Hello dear students, Namaste and welcome to our virtual English classroom. Today we are going to do a lesson from Unit 13. Okay, are you ready? I hope you are sitting comfortably and getting all the necessary things for learning in today's lesson. Okay, let's start with the getting started section. We are going to do first getting started section, and then we are also going to do listen and sing, and then we are going to read a text. Okay, the text is about it's a story, and the story is about a terrifying night. Okay students, let's see. Here we have the getting started section here in Unit 13 here, and in this section we have some question for you. Look at the pictures here. Can you see the pictures? Yes, look at them. What are they doing? And what do you think they can or can't do, and why? Okay students, let's talk about these people first. What are these people? The first one is an athlete. You can say the next one is a potter, and the third one is a singer. Yes, you are right. And the last, the two boys are, we call them players. Yes, you are right. So an athlete can run very fast, right? And a potter can carry a heavy load, and a singer can sing a beautiful song, and players can play football or any other games. Okay, so they can do these things. And what do you think they can't do? What do you think they can't do? Okay, we can think anything that they can't do. For example, you can say an athlete can't fly, right? Yes, a potter can't fly an airplane. You can say like that. We are talking about what they can and what they can't. Okay, so this is the thing that we get from these pictures. Okay students, now we have another section, that is listen and sing. So we have here a song. Okay students, we have similar song that expresses, that tells who can do what. Okay students, are you ready to sing? Okay, let's try to sing it. Okay, I'll start like this and you can follow me, and you can also learn the tune. Any man can claim, few can fly. Any girl can blink, few can lie. Anyone can promise, few can raise. Anyone can try, but few can stay. Any brain can hide, few can stand. Any kid can fly, few can land. Any gang can scatter, few can form. Any kid can tatter, few can form. Any soul can sleep, few can die. Any dog can weep, few can cry. Everyone complains, few can state. Anyone can stop, few can wait. Okay students, was this a good song? Okay, I tried my best. You can try yourself and sing it in a better way. Okay students, so what did you learn from this song? Look at the different people and animal here. A man, a girl. Okay, you can see here brain, kid, gang, soul, dog. These are the things, and what they can do is said here. Okay, we have a question after this song. What can any woman, man, girl, brain, kid, gang, or soul, or dog do? What they can do? So once again, let's see them. The words or the actions that they can do are here. Someone can claim, someone can blink, promise, hide, fly, scatter, sleep, and weep. Look at the poem again here. You can see here a man or any man can claim, but few can fly. Here girl can blink. So you can match them and give the answer. Or you can answer yourself what they can do. For example, a woman or man can dance. Okay, a man can run very fast. A girl can sing a song. Likewise, you can keep on remembering such actions that can be done by a man, girl, brain, and so on. So you can see here all the information, all the answers for these, things, animals, and people here. So a gang can scatter, a kid can chatter, soul can sleep, dog can weep, and so on. So what do you think you can do? Can you tell me? Yes, you can do a lot of things, right? You can think, you can jump, you can write, you can eat. And what can't you do? You can't do many things as well, right? You may not cross a big river by swimming, or you may not be able to, or you can't, drive a car, and so on, right? You cannot fly a plane, an aeroplane, right? So we have many abilities and we have also inabilities. So we are talking about different abilities and inabilities here in this poem. Okay, students, did you get? Okay, very well. Now we are going to move to the another section of our today's lesson, that is reading first. Reading 1. We have some questions and picture here. So first let's look at this picture here. What do you see here in this picture? What do you think the people are doing in this picture here? Look at this. There are 3 people and they are by the side of a fire. And what do you think they are doing there? Maybe they are warming themselves, they are camping themselves, or doing some fun activities by the fire. You can guess anything you think. Okay, who do you think they are? Then who do you think they are? Are they friends? Are they family? Are they neighbors? What do you think? Yes, they may be friends, they may be family members, they may be teacher and students as well, right? Okay, we will find out who they are in our story, A Terrifying Night. Okay, students? So today's story's title is A Terrifying Night. So what is terrifying night? Is it a pleasant night? No. A terrifying night is a scary night. It is a very, scary, it's fearful, it causes fear to you. It's not a pleasant night, right? So have you got any such unpleasant night or terrifying night? Yes, maybe. Maybe you have experienced in our past days. For example, during the earthquakes, you might have a terrifying nights, right? And you might have also seen landslides, falling trees, okay, falling houses, and so on. So that is not a pleasant thing, right? So let's find out what happens in the story that causes a terrible experience or that terrifies the writer. Okay, so first we will just see the words that we have in this story. Okay, students, so we have abroad, we have cottage, we have leak, and we have damp, supper, sight, terrifying, adventures, collapsed. Okay, so did you pronounce well? Okay, you can pronounce them as abroad, cottage, leak, damp, supper, sight, terrifying, adventures, and collapsed. Okay, so these are the words and the meanings of these words are in short. Okay, we have also injured, missed the last one, injured. So we have abroad, and this means a foreign country, the country which is outside of our country. And cottage, a simple house. Leak means to lose contents through a hole. And damp means slightly wet with water or liquid. Supper is a kind of meal that is taken in evening. Sight is a vision or a thing that one sees or can be seen. Terrifying is the thing or some experience that causes extreme fear. Okay, terrifying means causing fear, scaring, making us afraid. Okay, students. And adventures means exciting activities like climbing mountains, jumping from the cliffs, okay, skydiving and so on, parachute diving and so on. These are some of the activities that are called adventures. And collapsed means fallen down or faint, falling down. Okay, that's the meaning. And injured means someone harmed or damaged or wounded. Okay, students, these are the meanings, and we are going to now study the story, A Terrifying Night. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I'll read it slowly, so please listen to me carefully and try to understand what happens in the story. So there are 3 people in the story. Okay, so one is uncle and nephews, and uncle is telling the stories, different stories that are interesting stories to the nephews, and they are sitting in the evening, and there is an event or accident in the house of collapsing the building, and that causes them a terrifying night. Okay, so that's what is going to happen. So please find out the information in the story as I read it to you. Okay, shortly after the war, my brother and I were invited to spend a few days holiday with an uncle. He had just returned from abroad. He had rented a cottage in the country, although he rarely spent much time there. We understood the reason for this after our arrival. The cottage had no comfortable furniture in it. Many of the windows were broken and the roof leaked, making the whole house damp. Here, damp means wet, okay? And abroad is the another country. Okay, let's continue. On our first evening, we sat around the fire after supper, listening to the stories which our uncle had to tell of his many adventures in distant countries. So adventures means exciting, travels or activities. So he was going to tell the interesting adventures that he had in many countries. I was so tired after the long train journey that I would have preferred to go to bed. But I could not bear to miss any of my uncle's exciting tales. So the nephew was not going to miss any stories, and he was not ready to sleep. So let's see the next part. He was just in the middle of describing a rather terrifying experience when there was a loud crash from the bedroom above. There was a loud sound or crash, the one where my brother and I were going to sleep. Okay, there was a crash or falling of something where they were going to sleep, or they were sleeping previously. Okay, students, now let's continue. It sounds as if the roof has fallen in, exclaimed my uncle. What did the uncle say? He said, it sounds as if the roof has fallen in, exclaimed my uncle with a loud laugh. He laughed. When we got to the top of the stairs and opened the bedroom door, we could see nothing at first because of the thick cloud dust which filled the room. Okay, the dust filled the whole room, and they could not see anything first. When the dust began to clear, a strange sight met our eyes. A large part of the ceiling had collapsed. A large part of the ceiling had collapsed, fallen down, falling right on the pillow of my bed. I was glad that I had stayed up late to listen to my uncle's story. So he was glad, he was happy, he thought fortunate because he was listening to the story and he did not got harmed. Otherwise, I should certainly have been seriously injured, perhaps killed. Otherwise, if he was not listening to the story, what would happen? What would have happened? He would have been seriously injured or even killed. Okay, that was the possibility. Okay, we will continue again. That night, we all slept on the floor of the sitting room downstairs, not wishing to risk our lives by sleeping under a roof which might at any moment collapse on our heads. We left for London the very next morning, and my uncle gave up his cottage in the country. This was not the kind of adventure we cared for. Okay, so what happened finally? They left for the city, that is London, and they gave up the cottage. Gave up the cottage means they left it because it was damaged. There was no possibility to stay there. It was not safe. So it was their adventure, but it was not expected. They did not thought that it would be an adventure to stay in their cottage. Okay, students, so that's what happens in the story. So what did you get? What was the terrifying experience? Yes, the roof of the cottage had fallen down right on the bed of the children or boys of the writer where they were going to sleep. Wasn't it a terrifying experience? Yes, because it could kill them if they were not listening to the story from their uncle, right? Okay, so such things can happen to all of us, right? Yes, there are so many such accidents going on. Sometimes landslides, sometimes floods, sometimes snowing, heavy snowfall, or sometimes windy weather. There are a lot of things that can cause us such an experience that we feel happy to be safe from it. Okay, so students, we have completed reading the story. Now we are going to look at the exercises. First, let's see the filling or completing the word or sentences with words. Here we have the words like abroad, damp, adventure, terrifying, collapsed. I hope you know all the meanings of these words because we have talked about it in the story. So abroad, already I've talked about it, is another word, another country, and damp is a kind of wet with a liquid or water. Adventure is an activity that is exciting. Terrifying is causing fear, and collapse means something damaged or falling down. Now let's look at the sentence here. A, the road to Karnali is dangerous, however, it's an to travel along the road. So what can be the experience when you travel in a dangerous road? What kind of experience is it? Yes, it is an adventure to travel along the road. Yes, you are right. And another sentence is, look, the building has ... let's not go nearer. So when the building is in such a condition, when you don't want to go there, what kind of building that can be? A collapsed building, right? So the building has collapsed, damaged or fallen down. So let's not go nearer. That can be dangerous. My sister studies, she is in Australia. So Australia is another country. So we call this country abroad. Okay, we can call the other countries abroad. So my sister studies abroad means in another country, a foreign country. So she is in Australia. So another sentence is, can you read it aloud? D, our grandfather tells us stories about witches. What kind of stories? Witches. Look at here. Do you like witches? No, right? They are terrifying. So we can say terrifying stories about witches. And the last sentence here is, the roof of the cottage leaks. Leaks means water goes through some hole and it makes the cottage, when from the roof water leaks, what happens to your home or house? It gets wet, or we call in another word damp. Okay, so it makes the cottage damp throughout the rainy season. Okay students, this is the solution to this exercise. Now we will see the exercise B here. It is choose the correct answer. So we are going to choose the correct answer from the given alternatives. Okay, so we have here the sentence, the question: the writer did not go to bed immediately after supper because, what is the reason they didn't go to sleep? Let me just show you here. Can you see here? On our first evening, we sat around the fire after supper listening to the stories which our uncle had to tell of his many adventures in distant countries. Look here, what are they doing? They are listening to the stories. Okay, yes. So what is there? What is the answer here? So is it was pleasant sitting around the fire? His uncle terrified him with his stories, or he wanted to hear all his uncle's exciting stories? His uncle made him listen to his story. So the right answer is, he wanted to hear all his uncle's exciting stories. Okay, so wanted to hear all the stories, so they did not go to sleep after supper. So another question is, it was quite clear that the ceiling had fallen in. Okay, how did they know? How did they find out that the ceiling had fallen in? So is it when they opened the bedroom door, or after the dust had begun to clear, or as soon as they heard the crash when they reached the top of the stairs? Which one do you think is the correct one? So let me show you once again here. When the dust began to clear, a strange sight met our eyes. A large part of the ceiling had collapsed. Look here. When there was all around dust after the collapse, they could not see. As soon as the dust began to clear, they found that the ceiling had fallen in. So the right answer is, which one is? Yes, you're right. After the dust had begun to clear. Okay, they did not know what had fallen before until they saw after the dust had gone or begun to clear. Okay, so the next question, C, is that the word leaked in the passage means, look here, the word leaked, we have to find out the meaning. So in the passage means, was the beginning to fall down, let the rain in, needed to be repaired, was in bad condition. Which do you think is the correct one? Yes, we already talked about leak means going down from some holes or cracks, some liquid or rain coming down from the roof. So it's letting the rain in. So let the rain in is the correct one. Okay, the last one is, the word injured means killed, not hurt, wounded, or trapped. So injured means you get some cuts, or you break something, you got harm, you get harm. So it's not killed, okay, and it's also not hurt and not also trapped. The correct one is wounded. Wounded means you get some cuts in your body or breaks in your bones. Okay, so that is also called wounded. Another word for injured is wounded. Okay, students, so the correct one is wounded. Okay, students, so this was the exercise B. Choose the correct answer, and now we have completed it. Now we will go to the next exercise, that is answer the following questions. Okay, students, so let's have a look at all the questions first. Can you read the questions? Okay. Yes, you are great. So the first question is, had the writer's uncle bought or rented the cottage? Why didn't the writer's uncle spend much time in his cottage? Why did the writer not go to sleep? Not go to sleep. Was the writer's uncle amused or happy when he heard the loud noise? What could have happened to the writer if he had gone to sleep earlier? Why were they afraid to sleep upstairs that night? Why were they afraid to sleep upstairs that night after the event, after the accident? Did the writer's uncle continue living in his cottage? Did the writer's uncle wanted to live in the cottage or continue living in the cottage? Okay, these are the questions. Now I hope you have the answers in your mind. Let's get it from our paragraphs, passages from the stories. Okay, students, so we have this, the first question here. Had the writer's uncle bought or rented the cottage? Was it bought or rented? Let's find out in the story. Okay, students, look here. Shortly after the war, my brother and I were invited to spend a few days holiday with an uncle. He had just returned from abroad. He had rented a cottage in the country. Look here. So there is no any information about buying. So he just rented. So rented means just paid some money for a certain period of time. Okay, so we call the answer from here. So we come to the answer like this. He had rented the cottage in the country. He had not, bought. You can also write here, he had not bought the cottage. He had rented the cottage in the country. Okay, this is the answer for the question A. Now let's look at the question B. Here the question B is, why didn't the writer's uncle spend much time in his cottage? Why didn't the writer's uncle spend much time in his cottage? Let's read the paragraph here. He had rented a cottage in the country. Although he rarely spent much time there, we understood the reason for this. After our arrival, the cottage had no comfortable furniture in it. Look here, it says understood the reason. Understood the reason means the reason is given here. Okay, why he didn't stay there long? Because the cottage had no comfortable furniture in it. So the answer is here. So we come to the answer like this, because the cottage had no comfortable furniture in it. Okay, so can you see the reason here? And there are also other reasons, more reasons. Here you can see here many of the windows were broken and the roof leaked, making the whole house damp. You can also add other answers as well, all these sentences to your answer. I have just begun it here. I have just given one reason here. You can add more. Okay, students? Okay, so you can say broken windows and leaked roof and damp house. These are all the reasons that this uncle did not stay in his cottage for much time. He didn't spend much time there. Okay, students, now let's see the question C. Can you read it aloud? Okay, yes. Very good. Why did the writer not go to sleep? Okay, what is the reason for not going to sleep even though he was very tired? Let's see in the story here. I was so tired after the long train journey that I would have preferred to go to bed, but I could not bear to miss any of my uncle's exciting stories. So what is the reason here? Because he, you can replace I with he, and could not bear to miss of any of his uncle's exciting tales. Tales means stories. Okay, the answer is from here, so you can make your answer like this. Because he could not bear, or he could not, or he did not want to miss his uncle's stories, miss any of his uncle's exciting stories, you can make your answer in your own way as well. for this meaning. Okay, students, so this is the reason, not to miss the exciting stories. Okay, now let's see question D here. Was the writer's uncle amused when he heard the loud noise? Was the uncle, was the writer's uncle amused, means happy to hear the loud noise? Was he? What do you think? Let's see some lines here. Okay, he was just in the middle of this describing a rather terrifying experience when there was a loud crash from the bedroom above, the one where my brother and I were going to sleep. It sounds as if the roof has fallen in, exclaimed my uncle with a loud laugh. Look here, the word exclaimed means a surprise. It's a shock. When you exclaim, you don't know what to say, or you get shocked or surprised. So it means that we can say that it is not a happy experience, so it is a surprising thing, right? So we can say no, he was surprised, because it is said that the uncle exclaimed with a loud laugh. Laughing is just out of our excitement or our surprising experience, right? Sometimes you laugh but you are not happy. Is it right? Yes, students. So we can say that he was not happy, he was surprised, and he just laughed out. Okay, so this is the answer for D. Now let's look at the question E. What could have happened to the writer if he had gone to sleep earlier? Can you guess what could have happened? You can also guess the answer. The answer is here. I'll show you, but you can guess what could have happened. Yes, he could have been injured. Let's see in the story. Look here. In these lines, you can see here, I should certainly have been seriously injured or perhaps killed. If the writer had not gone to had gone to sleep earlier, had not gone to listen to the stories, he would be in the same place where the roof had fallen down. Okay, so the answer is he should certainly have been seriously injured, perhaps killed. This is the answer, and you can also make your just short answer. He would have been, or he could be seriously injured. He could have been, or he should have been seriously injured or killed. You can write your answer. Okay, the question F, why were they afraid to sleep upstairs that night? When that accident happened, why were they afraid? Why were they afraid? Because not risking, look here, not wishing to or not risking their lives by sleeping under a roof which might at any moment collapse on their head. So it was very risky, right? It was already damaged. The roof had already fallen down, so they did not want to risk their life. So the answer you can write like this. You can start with they were afraid. You can start from here. They were afraid to sleep upstairs that night because or for not wishing to risk their lives by sleeping under a roof which might at any moment collapse on their heads. Okay, in the sentence we have these our and our. You have to miss them. You have to omit them, and then you have to change the pronouns. Okay, so objective pronouns there and there. Okay, so there, then your answer can be correct. Okay, students, now we will move to another question, that is G. The question is, did the writer's uncle continue living in his cottage? Do you think they want to live in the cottage now? No, certainly not, because that's now not very safe to stay. So the answer is same as you have guessed. So we left for London very next morning. My uncle gave up his cottage in the country. The cottage was in the country and they gave up or left. So you can say the writer's uncle did not continue living in the cottage. His uncle gave up his cottage in the country. Okay, students? So they did not, or he did not stay in the cottage anymore. Okay, this is the answer. Okay, students, so this was the last question from section, question section. Now I have one more exercise for you, that is from D, and this is the last one from our today's lesson. And can you read the question first? What is it about? Yes, imagine that you were the writer's uncle. What are you going to do? You have to imagine that you are the writer's uncle and tell your friends about the incident. Now you have to tell as an uncle, not as the nephews or the boys or the writer. So how can you do that? I'll just help you how to change your a person in the story. So look here, you have to, I have underlined here, you have to change these pronouns. For example, my brother and I, he, we, uncle, because you are yourself uncle, you should not say uncle now. You have to say shortly after the war, look at here, I have changed here. Shortly after the war, I invited my nephews to spend a few days holiday with me. So look here, what I have changed, you can now understand it and you can clearly do it. So if you want to say my brother and I, that means your nephews, and here uncle means I invited my nephews to spend few days with me. Here an uncle is yourself, so you should replace with me. So you can say with me. And here is he, the uncle he, you have to now be yourself, that is I. I had just returned from abroad. I had rented a cottage in the country. Although I rarely spent much time there, they understood the reason for this. After my arrival, the cottage had no comfortable furniture in it. Many of the windows were broken and the roof leaked, making the whole house damp. Okay, in this way, this is just the way that you can follow and make your own story, like your own story, tell it from your own perspective, from your own point of view. Okay, students, so this is just the way that you can follow, and please complete all the exercise. Well, students, we have come to the end of today's lesson. I hope you have been benefited with today's lesson. Please keep all the records of the lesson we have done today. I hope to see you in another video. Have a good time. Namaste.